Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. My name is Shannon, and today we are going to celebrate Black History Month by talking about several books that I have on my TBR for 2025 and beyond by Black authors. The first three books that I have here, I'm definitely reading in 2025. I have them scheduled as such, and the first one being Native Son by Richard Wright. I am reading this in March for a reading challenge that I'm doing with the Massachusetts Center for the Book, the March prompt being a book by an author from a marginalized community. This is a classic. It was written, I believe, in the 1930s, and I believe also set in the 1930s in Chicago, Illinois. This book is also part of my Reading Through the USA challenge, which I believe I just posted a video 1 or 2 weeks ago, where I'm reading books from every state, and this one will cover Illinois. Right from the start, Bigger Thomas had been headed for jail. It could have been for assault or petty larceny. By chance, it was for murder and rape. Native Son tells the story of this young Black man caught in a downward spiral after he kills a young white woman in a brief moment of panic. Set in Chicago in the 1930s, Wright's powerful novel is an unsparing reflection on the poverty and feeling of hopelessness experienced by people in inner cities across the country and of what it means to be Black in America. So I will be reading this in March. Oh, and I should also mention that I'm hiding in my bedroom because where I normally film, it's blown up. I'm moving things around. I'm turning it back into a spare bedroom. So I've got books in boxes. Everything is a mess. So I cannot film in there. Okay, next we have Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. And let's get that glare out of there. This I am reading in July. Also for the Massachusetts Center for the Book Challenge, where the prompt is read a book where the cover attracted you. And I absolutely love this metallic pink with the pink sprayed edges. It's just absolutely beautiful. And this is a book of feminist essays, and Roxane Gay has some great essays in here. I'm really, really excited to read this. We've got essays on, gender and sexuality, race and entertainment, politics, gender, race. And she also does, essays about herself. So some really, really great essays in here, and I am looking forward to reading this in July. The last book that is on my I know when I'm reading list is Push by Sapphire. And this is actually for a different reading challenge I'm doing. This is the Ben Reads Good challenge. And this is for September, where the prompt is Sapphire September, and to choose a book with blue on the cover. And look at this blue. Look at this cover, first off. I absolutely love this cover. And it does have a blue spine. But, oh God, I adore this cover. And kudos to me for also the author's name matches the prompt. This is the story of Precious, a 16-year-old illiterate Black girl who has never been out of Harlem. Pregnant by her own father for the second time, she is kicked out of school and placed in an alternative teaching program. Though learning to read and write, Precious begins to find her voice and fight back. Push is the unflinching diary of a girl whose strength and kindness shines amidst extraordinary adversity. I do believe a movie came out several years ago called Precious, and I'm pretty sure that that is based on this book. I have not seen it, but I am looking forward to reading this in September. This next one, I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to read it, but I know I'm going to read it in 2025, and this is On Beauty by Zadie Smith. Now, this will be a reread for me, and the reason I'm definitely reading it this year is because I have a whole list of books that I absolutely cannot remember that I want to reread, and this is one of them. I read Zadie Smith's White Teeth in the early 2000s. I remember liking it. That's also another one that I can't remember, so I probably have to reread that one, but I am rereading this one first because I do remember not liking it as much as White Teeth, but I can't remember why I didn't like it as much. I also read this in the early 2000s, and I believe it won the Women's Prize. I'll have to double check on that. Just outside of Boston, in the small college town of Wellington, lives a family that is anything but typical. Liberated by education, complicated by race, and hobbled by self-delusion, they are about to stray onto the battlefield that divides personal belief from political conviction. On Beauty is Zadie Smith's brilliant, hilarious send-up of the culture wars that define our age. So this sounds great. I just cannot remember what it was about. I remember liking it, but I also remember not liking it as much as White Teeth. The rest of the books that I'm going to talk about are in relation to the Reading Through the USA challenge that I just mentioned, where I'm reading books from each state in the United States. And so all of these books here are part of that challenge, but I just don't know when I'm going to get to them because I'm doing this all before I turn 50, which is in about just under 5 years. So I have 5 years to get to these books. So we'll see what happens. The first one being Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And this I chose for Florida because I do believe that this is set in Florida. And this is a classic. I have never read anything by Zora Neale Hurston, but she is very well known and very well regarded. When at 16, Janie is caught kissing shiftless Johnny Taylor, her mother swiftly marries her off to an old man with 60 acres. Janie endures 2 stifling marriages before she meets the man of her dreams, who offers not diamonds, but a packet of flowering seeds. So that sounds really great. I can't wait to get to this. Next is The Goodness of St. Rocque by Alice Dunbar-Nelson. And this is a collection of short stories. And I chose this because I believe most, if not all, of the stories are set in New Orleans, Louisiana. So this is my pick for Louisiana. And Alice Dunbar-Nelson is a well-known Black author from the Harlem Renaissance. I've never read anything by her. This vivid short story collection transports readers to late 19th century New Orleans, from the delights of Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street to the quiet bayou where lovers meet, and to fish fries on the shore of the Mississippi Sound. In these intimate stories featuring unforgettable characters, Dunbar-Nelson provides a unique window into the struggles and joys of everyday Creole Louisianians. Louisianians? How can I not say that word? I'm so sorry. People from Louisiana. Next is The Known World by Edward P. Jones, and this is for Virginia. In one of the most acclaimed novels in recent memory, Edward P. Jones, Pulitzer Prize winner, tells the story of Henry Townsend, a Black farmer and former slave who falls under the tutelage of William Robbins, the most powerful man in Manchester County, Virginia. Making certain he never circumvents the law, Townsend runs his affairs with unusual discipline. But when death takes him unexpectedly, his widow, Caldonia, can't uphold the estate's order and chaos ensues. In a daring and ambitious novel, Jones has woven a footnote of history into an epic that takes an unflinching look at slavery and all of its moral complexities. The last book we're going to talk about today is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, and this I chose for Pennsylvania. And this is set in 1972 when workers in Pottstown, Pennsylvania were digging the foundations for a new housing development. The last thing they expected to uncover was a human skeleton. Who the skeleton was and how it got buried there were just 2 of the long-held secrets that had been kept for decades by the residents of Chicken Hill, the dilapidated neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans lived side by side, sharing ambitions and sorrows. As the novel unfolds, it becomes clear how much the people of Chicken Hill have to struggle to survive at the margins of white Christian America, and how damaging bigotry, hypocrisy, and deceit can be to a community. So that is it. Some great selections for books by Black authors in celebration of not just Black History Month in February, but throughout the year. So I hope you will put some of these on your TBR. Let me do a little thingy here. So have you read any of these? Please let me know. For the ones that I've scheduled, I know when I'm reading those, but for the other ones, let me know which one I should prioritize first, and I will do my best to get to them as soon as I can. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day. Bye.